Well, good morning, BookTube. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a nice start to your day. Myself, I'm up early, hot cup of coffee. I'm trying to win Bruno Mars tickets on the radio. Let's see, free trip to Las Vegas. So, cheers. Cheers. Doesn't apply to you. This is just the biggest coffee mug I had. So, cheers. That's not. I had a new brew. Anyway, this is a question to all my West Coast friends out there. This one. Seattle's best. It is tasty, but is it really the best? If you have an opinion on that, let me know. Only people on the West Coast. And let me know if you ever tried this or are there any better ones out there. Let's get right into it, folks. Sinners. The latest movie by director Ryan Coogler, starring his good friend Michael B. Jordan. I saw this movie opening weekend. It was about a couple weeks ago now. I meant to see it a second time since, but I'm old now, and I would probably fall asleep in the theater if I saw a late show. Yeah. True story, I once fell asleep during one of those Godzilla movies. It's all loud noises and roars, crashes. How that I fell asleep during that, I have no idea. But I can't risk it, so I gotta wait for a day off so I can catch the early show now. Okay, so, Sinners. Right off the bat. Well, first of all, I'm making a video of it, so that right there tells you how much I love this. So, let's talk a little about the basic plot. First of all, I should say, no spoilers. No spoilers at all, don't worry about that. If anything, what I'm telling you is just to give you a little taste, a little heads up of what you're getting into before you spend your money to go see the movie. Or spend your money and take your time out of your day to see the movie if you like. Just give me a little heads up of what you're in for. The movie takes place over the course of a day in 1932. We have these two twin brothers. They're nicknamed Smoke and Stack. Smoke and Stack, played by Michael B. Jordan. They returned home to where they came from, Clarksville, Mississippi. They've been spending some time in Chicago in the world of organized crime, making a little name for themselves. And here they come back, nice fancy suits, hat, looking rather sharp. And they want to throw out essentially a little party for their hometown, what they call a juke, J-U-K-E. Essentially, from what I can gather, a juke is essentially like a deep south version of what people up north and in urban areas would call a speakeasy. Like a speakeasy, they existed during the time of Prohibition when alcohol was illegal. There'd be like these little secret clubs, sometimes hidden from view, sometimes just in the basements of buildings, and they would serve alcohol. So, as I said, we have the two brothers in the movie Smoke and Stack throwing a juke. So essentially, when I'm watching the movie, that's what I inferred. I figured it to be like a deep south version of what we call a speakeasy. And before I go on, I gotta give major props to Michael B. Jordan for playing the twins. Obviously, when we meet the twins, we distinguish them by how they dress. Like one brother wears more reds, the other brother wears blues. Both very indicative of their types of personalities. Like the brother Smoke who wears blue, he's definitely the more reserved of the two, to say the least. So, but after a while, they lose the color hats they wear, and you don't even really have to look at the clothing to know which brother is talking. So, kudos to Michael B. Jordan. It's a hell of a performance. So we're easily able to distinguish which brother we were looking at the time. So, but back to the movie. So, like I said, they're throwing the juke for their hometown, and that's essentially the main plot. Now, on top of that, if you've watched the trailers, it looks like a horror movie. Like they're throwing the party. There's some creatures out there who come around. They're trying to get into this party, and essentially that is it. Yes, at the heart of this movie, that is what it is exactly. It's a monster movie first and foremost. Now, I won't tell you exactly what the monster is, even though you may have been spoiled by it by now with all the memes and stuff going around on the internet. But, for the sake of being a non-spoiler review, I still won't say it here. But I will tell you this. It is not only is it a monster, it's actually a classic kind of monster. And at the Deep South, little party going here, it's a very unique retelling of a classic monster story. Really caught my attention. So as I said, at the heart of the movie, it is first and foremost a monster movie. Now, am I smiling? Okay. That's because there's a whole other level to this movie that, like, you would have no idea. It was never indicated in the trailers or anything, and it was such a pleasant surprise watching in the movie. Okay, there's a very important theme to this movie, and that is, you can tell by the musical notes here on my tapestry, the major theme of the movie is music. Mm-hmm. plays plays it's essentially everything to the story. It brings everything together. Our good guys, our bad guys. It brings us all together as one through the magic of music. So right at the very beginning, we know this because the movie opens up. We get a little history lesson, so to speak. They talk about how these different cultures around the world. Some of them believe that they have like these names for them, which I don't remember the names off the top of my head. Like around the world, and like they believe like some musicians have this ability through their instruments to connect the other side. Essentially, some kind of like, I guess you can say kind of some kind of witchcraft or some kind of magic. You know, like they can play their instrument, call to the other side, and summon demons and whatnot. And of course, for the sake of the story, that they focus on these types of stories from West Africa, because obviously, of course, pretty much everyone in the cast is African American, so we focus on that. But that, being the music fan I am, that really pardon the expression, struck a chord with me, because so many cultures around the world have this idea of music, like some kind of evil attached to it in some way. I'll give you a case in point. One of the most famous bands right now, you've heard of Black Sabbath. They're considered the godfathers of heavy metal. Ozzy Osbourne was the leader. And kind of perfect time because they're getting ready to do like a final performance in their hometown in Birmingham, England. The reason I bring them up is because they're from England, and on their debut album, there's the name of the band Black Sabbath. Their debut album is self-titled Black Sabbath, and the first song on the album is called Black Sabbath too. And I will find a clip of that song. I'll put it in the description box below for you if you're interested. But throughout that whole album, they're playing like these devil's notes. Like, once again, I sadly never picked up an instrument in my life, so I can only get so technical. But there are these types of notes, like tritone they call it. They're essentially the devil's notes. Like medieval times, you were not allowed to play these notes. And if you listen to like this Black Sabbath album, they are working those devil's notes. So it goes to show you like West Africa, in like medieval Europe, it seems like so many cultures around the world have this notion of music being evil in a sense, or certain types of music being evil in a sense. And I just thought that, just being a music fan, that just popped in my head. I found it incredibly interesting. Okay. And I have to mention one other thing. It's one of those things like, you're watching the movie, first time you're sitting there watching this, and you're thinking, oh, that's interesting. You're trying to figure out, what does that mean? Then it clicks with you later, and you realize like, oh my god, that was absolutely brilliant. So I have to say one thing about our bad guys in this story. Once again, when you're introduced to the bad guys, you know who they are right off the spot. It's like, voila, here they go. And actually, our three bad guys, they show up to the juke, and it's like, they're the bad guys. Like, that's where the suspense comes from. It's like, oh, here they are. Things are about to happen now. And so you're waiting for like our three bad guys to show up and start wreaking all this carnage here. But all of a sudden, they start taking out their instruments and play music too. And I have to emphasize this because I'll explain why in a second. The three main villains who show up, the three of them are white. And this actually means something. I'll explain in a moment. So these three villains, they show up. Like three white people, they're playing their music too, and you're kind of watching like, well, why are they singing now all of a sudden? And one line that really stuck with me, the main villain, he's talking with the Smoking Stack, the twin brothers, and he casually mentions that was like the Smoking Stack. They bought this barn to throw the juke, the place to have this party and future parties, and like our main villain, he looks at them and he goes, yeah, the guys who sold you this property, they're just going to take it away from you like they did to us. But that was interesting. Key point two, the dialogue is very important. Because like The movie takes place over the course of a day, so you really got to pay attention to like the rich details in the conversation to learn more about these characters. So you have this villain. He says, "Yeah, like they're gonna take it away just like they did to me." I'm like, well, that was interesting. And then later on, like our main bad guys and their group of people, they're out. We see them in the woods. They're like singing and dancing, playing their songs as well. And the main guy, he starts Irish step dancing. I saw them like, holy crap! Like the main monster, he's Irish. And don't forget, folks, you talk about like pouring some music here. We have like the African Americans here and like the blues culture, but now we got like the Irish guy and his dancing too. So talk about music. It's not just like a big theme like music of the movie. It's like music of the oppressed. Because don't forget, folks, before we were the United States, we were the 13 colonies ruled by Great Britain. And Great Britain did some, very British Empire-y things to the Irish now, didn't they? So that's like the whole focus of the movie. Not just music itself, but music of the oppressed for like all groups. And like they just added that detail with the monsters. I'm like, what? That was fascinating. Like, once again, it's as much as this movie is like a Halloween movie, like it's a musical movie too, which was not expected at all. So yeah, that was the main point I wanted to get in this review. Really just talk about like the little attention to details that just like struck a chord with me so personally, and I just loved. I thought were absolutely brilliant. So if anything I just said sounds interesting to you, please go see it, because like apparently word's getting out in the movies. Like it's being re-released in theaters now. It's getting more screens. It's really taken off, and I'm so happy to see that, because it was one of my favorite movie experiences in recent years. Which brings me to the one final thing I have to point out: the cameos. Okay, at the end of the movie, like there is like not a mid-credit scene. It happens too early to be called that. Just as the credits get rolling, an extra scene starts during the credits. So don't get up too quickly and leave. Just stay there for an extra few minutes. So we have another scene. It's kind of like the ending of the story. It's an important scene, and it's a very long scene. And there's a cameo in this scene. Blues legend, the legend of legends, Buddy Guy. Buddy, the man's almost 90 years old now. The guy's influenced everyone. He's still rocking today. He's incredible. He's in the movie, and he has a very important role too. He's not just there on screen. But so I emphasize. I was going to tell you that he appears in the movie too, but I want to stress that he pops up at the very end. Because if you know who he is and he's a fan, I don't want you like looking at the movie the whole time going like, where is he? Dickhead Albert told me he was in the movie. I don't see him anywhere. So, he's at the very end. So he pops up and he's on stage playing in a band. And in addition to that, I'm looking at the guys in his band, and there's a young guitarist there. I'm looking at him go, Kingfish? Like, there's a modern day blues player who's a prodigy. His name's Christone Ingram. His nickname is Kingfish. He's only 26 years old now. Like, he's incredible. He's been around for a few years. And even this modern day blues player is in the movie too. And of course the emphasis is on Buddy Guy being the legend. So yes. And I looked it up too. This guy Kingfish, he's actually touring. He's going to be in Asbury Park in September. I'm getting 2 tickets pretty soon. I'm going to, even though it's months away, I'll be there. I'll find something to go to. No one's going to want to miss this one. So yeah. So definitely, folks, stay for the end. And like I said, I just wanted to touch on a couple of main things that really struck with me. There's so much more to the movie. It's very layered. And let's see, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, one other thing popped up in my head too. I was just like scrolling on Instagram. Apparently the director, Ryan Coogler, who I love, he did like the Creed movies, which succeeded the Rocky movies, like Black Panther movies. The guy's amazing. He said apparently recently he wants to do a reboot of the show The X-Files. Now, I've seen so many bad reboots, I'm just not interested. I gotta tell you, after watching him and what he did with the monsters in this movie, I want that reboot. I'm definitely intrigued to see that reboot and see what he does in that world. Okay, so I'll leave it at that, folks. So I mentioned I meant to say this before, like I was talking about Buddy Guy and Kingfish Ingram. I will include clips of them in the description box below. I highly encourage you, if you're interested, to check out couple clips of some great music, and hope you enjoy. All right. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's still early. I got some more coffee to drink, and I got some more radio concert tickets to try and win. Okay. Have a good one, everybody. Take care. And hope you have a nice day at the movies, too.